To a major Supreme Court ruling on gun rights that could come down within days. ABC's Ike Ejiochi has more from the Supreme Court as gun rights and abortion are two of the biggest cases left on the High Court's calendar. Ike, good morning to you.
Good morning, Janae. For weeks now, the nation's eyes have been on the Supreme Court awaiting some high-stakes decisions that could have far-reaching effects, including a decision on guns. Now, the court will decide on the New York State case questioning a person's fundamental right to carry a handgun in public for self-defense, a potentially sweeping impact on concealed carry nationwide at a time of soaring gun sales and several recent mass shootings. Also pending is the court's decision on abortion rights following the leaked draft opinion showing the court overturning Roe versus Wade. Now, it's one of the most highly anticipated decisions which could roll back nearly 5 decades of abortion rights precedent, a ruling that has the potential to transform abortion rights for tens of millions of women nationwide. Now, that 8-foot-tall black non-scalable fencing still surrounds the nation's highest court, as several protesters are expected to continue gathering outside the steps of the court as the justices prepare to release opinions on some very controversial topics. Now, this week, the court is expected to release 2 more rounds of opinions on Tuesday and Thursday. Now, other pending cases involve school vouchers, prayer in schools, immigration and the Remain in Mexico policy from the Trump administration, and even a decision surrounding veterans discrimination. Back to you.
Ike Ejiochi, thank you. Let's go ahead and stay in Washington with some of the other headlines we're following and bring in ABC News political director Rick Klein. Rick, good morning to you. Always great to have you. So starting with the hearings on January 6th, the Capitol riot, there have been 3 so far, 2 more hearings scheduled for this week. Is there a sense in Washington about whether the committee has been successful so far in presenting their evidence, and what are you learning about what they plan to tackle next?
With this next hearing is a big one. We remember the famous phone call when former President Trump, still president at the time, asked Georgia officials to, quote, find him the votes in Georgia. Even though he had lost, he was looking to overturn the election. The Secretary of State of Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, one of his top deputies, will be among the witnesses on Tuesday when the committee meets next. And that's important because that's discrete evidence of a potential crime. We know that local authorities in Georgia have been investigating that with a grand jury for some time, even separate from what the Justice Department does. And as to the question as the people are tuning in, there's no doubt that it's registering, at least with some people, even if the country isn't necessarily riveted. We're going to have some polling to discuss later this morning on This Week, getting at how independents in particular may be changing their view of what the committee has done and what the ultimate takeaways should be.
Yeah, the independents, their perception will be critical in all this as we head into this midterm election, too. I do want to turn now to the economy and the soaring inflation, record gas prices, the plunging stock markets. The White House does seem to be shifting its tone on the threat of a possible recession, but what are they actually proposing to address these issues?
We're being told all options are on the table, but the table, frankly, is pretty sparse. There aren't that many things that a president can do unilaterally. You saw him turn his focus to Congress, some blame to Congress. There's still talk about maybe a tax reform package or a slimmed-down spending package. You also hear talk about gas tax holidays and the like that could be approved by Congress. But functionally speaking, there is not much that policymakers can do 5 months out from an election to try to turn around the economy. We saw the Fed fire perhaps its biggest shot in trying to combat inflation earlier last week, and of course that raises fears of inflation, or sorry, of a recession. And so there's a big issue now that the White House is facing. They know it's the big political obstacle for them this fall, but frankly speaking, there just isn't that much that can be done.
All right, Rick Klein, as always, thank you so much. And by the way, happy Father's Day to you, my friend. We appreciate it. And just a reminder here, tune in to This Week later on this morning. George Stephanopoulos speaks exclusively with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen about the Biden administration's plans for the economy and fears of a possible recession. Plus, Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger sits down with George to discuss the January 6 hearings as the investigation into the Capitol riot continues.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.